Kosta. How are you?
I'm well. I'm amazing. How are you?
Really, really good. How was Europe?
Man, that's crazy. Like, I was away 10 weeks, but the magic of that 10 weeks, the only thing that I had booked was a one-way trip to London and my first week's accommodation.
Yeah, that's insane. I couldn't. I need an itinerary. I don't think I could just go and not have a plan. Where did you go?
I did London for a week.
Yep.
I did a day in Paris because that was like a middle getting to Italy. And
Yep.
then I did 2.5 weeks in Italy across Venice, Florence, Rome, and then I went further down south, did Bitonto, Bari, Alberobello, sort of around the Puglia region.
Yep.
From there, I was going to head straight to Athens, but it was actually cheaper for me to go from Bari to Crete to Athens. So I then did 3 days in Crete. From there, went and saw family in Athens, stayed there a week.
Awesome.
Caught up with a friend in Paros, so we did I just did the cruise down to Paros, stayed in Nausa, and then from there back to Athens, then to Cyprus for a month where I got to meet basically family, a lot of family for the first time. I was meeting my cousins for the first time.
Yeah, and you knew that they were family before you went.
Oh, I knew.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
knew of them. I
Yeah.
didn't really have most of them on social media or anything, but we just all clicked.
It's not
Like
like
it was
you-
insane how quick we clicked, and even the goodbye. You'd think after a month of knowing them, it's not long.
Yeah,
It wouldn't be a very hard goodbye. It's like, I'll see you guys again. But it was actually, especially for me, it's a bit emotional just saying bye to these guys, not really seeing them for some time.
because it's a whole new branch of your family that you've
Yeah.
sort of got to know over the last little month, and then you're saying goodbye to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the trip. So 10 weeks altogether.
Wow, it's a long trip. Which was your favourite country?
Ooh.
Family to one side.
Everything had its own highlight.
Yeah.
Like a week in London, first of all, like it's not business centric, but for me, it was like the exciting part of the trip. It was like, oh my God, like we're actually doing this. You're off, you're on your own, you're just enjoying, the beauty of travel. And it had musical highlights. I did Mamma Mia, the party as well whilst I was
Nice.
there, which was amazing, phenomenal, highly recommend. And
Yep.
everybody, if you're a musical fan, go see it.
Even if you're not, just do it.
Yeah, no, just do
Yeah,
it
yeah.
because it was entertainment, it was food, it was, I was on a table with other Australians as well.
Sick.
That was super cool.
I
like
love it when that
they were from
happens.
Perth, from Melbourne, but we just connected. So that London was all things business, excitement, creativity. It was actually a little bit of a hub. What I found interesting whilst I was walking through the streets was I always conveniently ended up at a co-working space.
Yeah, right.
Like I would be walking through the streets and suddenly I'd be at a co-working space.
Is there just a lot of them, or
That's what I thought. I thought
you
there
just
might be.
got
And then
attracted to them?
I spoke to other people about London. They're like, how are you finding these co-working spaces? I was like, I would just be on my path and suddenly I would be approached by someone or I would detour and find a co-working space, not even looking it up on a map.
Just a serial entrepreneur, just is what it is, the hustle
Yeah.
life. Yeah.
I don't know. Look, Paris was only a day. I've experienced Paris before, but
Yep.
what's not to love about Paris is the food, everything there. So I wasn't there for too long. Then Italy, oh my gosh.
Italy's amazing.
Well, Italy was meant to be the holiday. That
Yeah.
was the only place that I was going to do. I was just going to experience Italy for a few weeks and then come back to Melbourne. That was
Yep.
the original plan.
Yep.
Then I was like, well, you can't just do Italy. You got to go to London. It's on the way. And then grandfather was like, well, you're in Europe. You may as well go to Greece. Okay, you're in Greece. You may as well go to Cyprus. One thing led to the next. It was phenomenal. Like I said, there was all these different parts that that stood out for different reasons, connections, food, connection to self, especially
Yeah.
throughout the trip. It was me backing me, Yeah, there was times where I was shit scared. I was like, something's going to happen to me here. I feel like I'm in the middle of nowhere, and which I was, but
Yeah.
the streets, you don't know. But it's just being vigilant. You get told what's your belongings all the time. And I was even reading posts on Facebook and Instagram, especially in Italy, like they're known for pickpocketing and trains. So I was just very vigilant.
Did you have anything nicked?
Didn't,
No?
thankfully. Only had my luggage taken away for 48 hours because the airport lost it. Yeah.
We had that too when we were flying back to London to then fly home, but our luggage had somehow made it to Denmark, and it was just like 2 weeks. So we went to Harrods to go buy a spare change of clothes, and went into Harrods and realised how expensive Harrods is, and then walked out and went to their equivalent of Kmart. So had that experience, not fun.
Yeah, well, I figured that we're quite blessed in Australia,
Oh, yeah.
actually. I almost missed multiple planes and multiple trains, and I'll tell you why in a second. But when I got to Italy and lost the luggage, I had to put a lost and found thing. She's like, "Do you have a ticket?" I was like, "What do I need a ticket for? There's no one around waiting." She's like, "You need a ticket." And I'd filed a ticket, like a lost file beforehand. So I knew how to do it digitally through the system there. And then when I got there, she was basically going to do the exact same thing as what I just did, except with a person. The only difference was she couldn't speak English. The machine could.
Oh, no.
So that was fun and eventful. I went to the nearest Zara, and I didn't even know there was a Zara in Venice.
Yep.
Went to the nearest Zara and just bought a bunch of clothes to just survive.
Yep.
That was where I'd figured out, hey, Europe's actually a lot pricier than what I thought. I bought a bit of wine. Originally, it was just meant to be a glass of wine.
Yep.
She brings out the bottle. Great, no worries.
Twist my arm.
No worries. You can do the bottle and a bit of pasta, tagliatelle or something like that with the ragu, and $150 dinner later. I was like, oh, Venice is a bit pricier than what I thought. So, yeah. And then the other one was whilst we were up in the air. Now, if you board any airline within Australia, usually you're given water, like you're given a refreshment of some kind.
Yeah.
Not from Paris to Italy. I asked
Really?
for just like tap water.
Yeah.
Oh, no, we've only got the bottled water. And I didn't have a physical card. Of course, we're used to using the, pay by phone. You can't pay by phone up there. So.
Yeah, right. Was that commonplace across, like, with trains also the same, or did you not spend that much time on trains?
No, I did. Actually, that was how I got by most of the trip. It was just, working out the public transport system and just doing it. There was one moment, so it was going from Paris to Italy. I had to catch a train from my accommodation to the airport, and I went north instead of south. There are two airports.
Yeah.
And I just quickly got on because it was like 2 minutes the train was going to leave, and I knew it was going to be a good half an hour, 45 minutes until the next one. Don't do that. Read signage or ask. I was like, nah, back me. I've got it.
I'm
Let's
good.
do it.
I'm good. I'm not good.
I got on and I was like, this train's going the wrong way. I realized about half a stop in.
Yep.
And then the stop wasn't 10 minutes, 5 minutes.
No.
The stop was 25, 30 minutes. And meanwhile, we're on it. Train delays. I was like, lucky I'd left, because any international flights, I leave a good 3 hours gap.
Yeah.
But we're halfway through. I've obviously, realized. Then you've got the train delays, and like I'm gonna miss this flight for sure. Like, so get off, and then I'm busting to go to the toilet. I've only got a return card, so once you're in, there was no toilets in the actual facility.
No.
So I had to exit. And then when I exit, I couldn't get back in with the exact same card. So I then had to get another one for like 18 euro, whatever it is, which is like $36.
Yeah.
It's not hefty, but it is for,
It's
the travel that you're
significant,
doing. And then I just made it. And then I had to get another little train to get into the airport. So once you're at the train station, then the mini train shuttle comes to get you into the airport.
Yep.
I had to get through security. So first off, it's checking in, showing them your passport and all that. They're like, your plane's really soon. I said, yeah. Is there any way that we can fast track the process?
Speed this up a little? Yeah.
Okay, no worries. We'll speak to the desk. They checked the luggage in. I just had to like really swift through security really quickly.
Yep.
Got through. And she's like, gate C. I'm like, all right, gate C. I start bolting to gate C because I don't have very long left until this flight. The gate closes. I get to gate C. They go, were you not told about the gate change?
Oh.
I said, what gate change? So I'm then off to gate E, which was on the other side of the airport where I already was.
Yep.
Luckily, there was a family of about, I don't know, I'm going to say about 10, 15 or so people.
Yep.
And they delayed also for whatever reason. Had they not have, I would have missed that flight because they were waiting on the bigger family.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, all of us lost our luggage because of the later check-in, I want to say. That's probably why it happened. But we bring a story to tell, and that was just one of the many.
Double check your trains.
Yeah.
Double check your trains.
Well, it's hard because even if you look, it had that airport sign, but I didn't actually see on the ticket, on my ticket of which airport, it actually just said Paris Airport. So I'm like, oh, okay, Paris Airport.
Cool.
Cool.
It's got to be only one.
Yeah, it wasn't until like I really looked into it, researched the flight number and all that I realised wrong airport.
Well, a lot of the countries overseas, when they're flying into, not that they fly into Avalon very often, but Avalon is listed as a Melbourne airport, even though it's far closer to Geelong. But so technically Melbourne does have 2 airports as well. But yeah, it's definitely a point of contention. You want to make sure that you're going to the right place. How many people do you reckon have made that mistake and gone to the wrong airport and sat there waiting for their name to be called out or the flight to be called out, and then it's just not happened?
Oh, many. And then you wonder, like, it's just me? Is it like is it a me thing?
Am I the only one that can't do this? No, nice. So how was it adjusting back into Melbourne? Did you work while you were overseas? You did?
I did. Yeah. So I took a few calls and things whilst I was there. I attended the BNI Business Networking in London just to suss the landscape a little bit.
Nice. How was it over there? What was that like?
Oh, so different.
Yeah?
So different. Yeah. So the BNI London compared to, like, I suppose just, from what I see, it was, even just in numbers, like we've got 50 to a group. They only had around 20. But in structure, we do it alphabetically. It was randomized. So I was looking at this sheet. I was subbing for someone at the time. Not voluntarily.
Yeah.
It was,
You've been voluntold.
Sort of fell into it.
Yep.
Actually, when I got there, I was like, hi, I'm Kosta. I'm a guest. I'm from Melbourne, Australia. Oh, okay. You must be subbing for, I'm going to mention a random name, but you must be subbing for Greg.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, that wasn't discussed. I'm showing up as Kosta from Australia. Oh, that's not what we had down. You're subbing for Greg.
You didn't know I was going to be here. How did you?
Well, it was through emails.
You
So
registered.
the Greg guy had actually sent me his script to sub, but I politely declined because both our video marketing backgrounds. So I was just showing up there as a guest.
Yeah.
Now, I did end up subbing for Greg because I was like, on an energetic level, I just felt, just trust intuition, trust that that's happened for a reason, and just do it. And then the guy actually said, well, since you're subbing for Greg, you can actually introduce yourself afterwards as well on what you do. I went, oh, beautiful. Okay. Yeah, you got 30 seconds to do both. Cool. That works.
Oh, okay.
So why the heck not? But, even just like when we get up at the end, it's all about, referring so-and-so, and you've got referrals, you've brought a guest or something, just normal BNI structures. It was just a bit more, not nonchalant about it, but if you didn't have anybody or anything for the week, that was okay. I was okay, interesting. Even just the personality types.
Yeah.
But overall, great venue. So it's a great venue. Really nice, well lit. I don't know how early in development the BNI is, but good experience.
Yeah.
Good experience. I highly recommend everybody just, try and explore international business networking.
Because then your trip's tax deductible. I mean, talk to your accountant.
Speak to your accountant about that one.
Do you think that it was just a chapter that was in a different stage of development, though? Like they could do, I'm sure London being the former commerce capital of the world, I think it's more Dubai now, but it's like, do you think that they'd still have a heavy hitter chapter? Definitely. You could have just gone to the wrong one.
Well, no, I don't think so, because I looked up. It was BNI London. It was quite central as well. It was quite close to the city. That's what I thought. Maybe I went to the wrong one when I showed up and there were only 22 people, because I thought, London being a big city, of course.
You think it'd be a big one?
No, I think they're the main one and maybe it was only recently developed. I'm not too sure how long they've been around for. But yeah.
Well, I'll make a point of visiting BNI London when I go next. Shout out BNI London.
That's it, yeah.
No, so when you came back, how was did a lot of the workflow stay the same? Did you just sort of slot back into it, or was there an adjustment period? Because 10 weeks is a long time.
Yeah, it was. So going there, I thought that I would be jet lagged like crazy.
Yeah.
But I wasn't. I think it was just the excitement of the trip. The only thing that I really had was my stomach catching up to eating times.
Yep.
Because obviously the time adjustment, and that was only the first few days, I would say. I didn't really experience any form of jet lag, or I didn't notice it. And then on the way back, everyone's like, oh my God, you're going to be so jet lagged from Europe. You've been away for so long. And I was like, where? What jet lag? Oh, don't you wake up like 4 a.m. and then you can't sleep? I was like, well, I wake up at 4 a.m. sometimes, but I can still get back to sleep. I'm still sleeping.
Can you sleep on planes?
I can power nap. I can meditate, but I can't like sleep long periods of time.
Neither can I. I can't
so
sleep on planes.
I feel I have a bit of a jet lag hack, and it is a lot of psychology and all in the mind. If you tell yourself that you're going to be jet lagged when you're going to be back, you will be jet lagged when you get back, because you'll start to notice all the things in your body that mean jet lag.
I feel so tired.
But we actually experience jet lag throughout our normal weeks. If you start to look at, feeling tired and seeing that as jet lag, same thing. Now, it is a thing. But for me, what I like to do is I like to hydrate before the trip. So a day before, I will hydrate. I'll drink so much water, even on the day of, and the day after. Vitamins, water, and just give my body the nutrition that it needs to flow.
Yeah.
And I gave myself a transition week. So that week I said no intense business. So I was still doing meetings. I was still, I still attended BNI as part of our chapter, but I didn't do anything that was a tight sort of deadline intentionally because I didn't want to feel rushed. And there's a magic that happens when you finish a trip.
Yeah.
You're all refreshed. There's almost like an energetic vacuum that opens you up to different potentials. You see the world differently when you get back. And that's what I felt. And so I wanted to keep that freshness coming back in. And so I did.
Yeah, right. So do you think about your energy levels often? Like, is obviously health's important to you. Is that something that you are constantly thinking about, or is it just a pre-flight thing?
Yeah, definitely. So going a bit back in time, it was probably around 2018 that my journey first started, whether it was to do with business, energy, all of that sort of opening up. I was, working and working hours, and I just went, man, why is it that these people I see successful have like an abundance of energy? Like, what are they doing? Like, entrepreneurs just really giving it their all, living their best life, abundance of energy. And then there's some that are doing 9 to 5 and just like dead, finish their 5 p.m. and then that's it. They need a nap, they need a sleep, they like just completely clock off in energy in themselves too. And I really looked into psychology, biology, and like I'm not an accredited doctor or anything like that, but I really just researched the shit out of all of the things that make our cells vibrate at a higher level to give us more energy.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure where that train of thought was going, but what makes us vibrate at a higher state and at a lower vibration, and the differences in lifestyles.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I don't really know where I was going with that either. Jumping back a bit. So, for the uninitiated, we're both in BNI, which is a networking group that's sort of geared towards structured business networking. It's not like a chamber of commerce sort of event where you have business cards and you hand them all out and you hope. It's more there's an incentivization for people to give each other referrals and set up relationships and that sort of thing. So moving more into business, Kosta, how has BNI helped your business? Firstly, run through what your business is.
Okay. All right. Our business has evolved over the years, and it's quite interesting that it's going into its next chapter as well after the travels. Because what I've noticed is as I evolve, the business also evolves.
Awesome.
And a lot of people who I've spoken to experience similar, they say. So what we do, or what I am, is I'm a video marketing strategist. But what a lot of people don't realize that they get access to when they speak to me is my background in psychology, neuromarketing, content, photography, and all the umbrellas and little bits and pieces of marketing that I've explored over the years. So when I get seen as a videographer per se, it's not that I find it offensive, but I feel like it's only like 1% of everything
you do.
that I do. And Shots Creative, the way that it was born was 5 years ago. When we first started, it was just me. And I was going through and experiencing anxiety, depression, and there was a lot of me that was lost, actually. And I was seeking purpose. I couldn't find my purpose within this world. I knew that I had passions surrounding photography, videography, but I didn't actually know what my purpose was. And it was super obvious and in front of me. But that was the journey. That was something that I had to go on. Yeah.
Yep.
So the way that Shots Creative started, the name itself, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take in life. The quote.
Nice.
Creative, because I envisioned more than just me. It was creatives coming together. It wasn't just videographers. It wasn't just photographers. It was creatives all coming together in a space or in multiple spaces to create. And it's a lightning bolt to always ignite the spark within. So when I lost my passion and my purpose, that was a really shit time for me, and I never wanted that for anybody else. So quite often when people have conversations with me, they say, wow, like I feel really excited about my business. And it's like, that's the feeling. I want you to be excited about your business. I want you to see business in a different light, and I started to notice a common pattern more recently of the businesses and the people that do approach me tend to be between that 5 to 10 year gap, and they're bored. They want something different.
Yeah.
They want to see their business in a different light. The other thing is the color blue, because it represents speaking your truth. In energy, the blue is represented by the throat chakra.
Mm.
And what we do is it's talking to camera, it's telling stories and speaking your truth.
Awesome. And blue in a marketing sense is usually associated with trust and authenticity and that sort of brand structure as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I think, in terms of color psychology, that was something that I'd thought about along the way as well. The color psychology has lost its ways, I feel, in different brands misusing that. But yeah, blue is representative typically of trust.
What do you mean by that?
Ooh, good question. And I feel what I mean by that is without naming a big brand, there is a big brand that is out there and they do use the color blue,
Yep.
but they perhaps manipulate their audience, or they manipulate their customers per se. So even a big brand like McDonald's, as an example, red and yellow was used for hunger. And it still is. They say that when you see the color yellow or you see the color red, you feel hungry, or there's something that's within us. So yeah, color psychology, it exists, but there's different color palettes now that have shifted the color psychology. It still stands, but it's shifting color psychology.
Yeah. No, nice. Okay. So should I change my lights from blue?
Let's leave
and
it.
The red and yellow. We're very hungry in the studio. No, it's interesting how brands structure themselves and how they put themselves out to the world. So how long have you been in business?
So I've been in business for I've run Shots Creative for the last 5, but I've actually been in business since 2018, 19. And originally I was doing portraiture and wedding photography. That's where it all sort of started, and my career was expanding in the photography and videography field, where I was just asked to do some weddings and events for family to begin with. Man, I had a fear of going up to the altar to take a photo because I was afraid of how the family would be looking at me up there, because it's a big thing. And taking a photo from up there, it's a big thing, right? You got all these eyes. I had to get over that very quickly.
Definitely.
And I was freelancing. I freelanced for another big company. His name is Designed by Maro. Amazing, creative.
Yeah.
Like, credit to what he's created along the way. That's where I learned the art of direction, working with clients, and just really, just the true beauty of photography and bringing out someone's image through that. But yeah, I got my butt kicked basically the second, it was the first or second shift, we'll say, the second wedding. I wasn't seen up there. So, doing the things that you're afraid of.
Awesome. So jumping back again, business networking, how has that sort of come into your business sphere? Why did you start to do it? How's it helped your business? What's the necessity behind it?
I think there's a lot of big businesses now being built, and people think that it can be done faceless. I don't disagree with that. I think it can be done faceless, and there's a lot of I don't know too many of, but there's a lot of results from that. I've always been a big believer in showing up. So networking for me, I was always my best business card. I noticed that the people that I'd met through networking and I'd shown up in person, I built a really good connection with very quickly, and that helped connection and then sale, and then nurturing that along the way and doing great things. So networking for me, it's actually a non-negotiable, to be honest. I discovered BNI 5 years ago. Actually, it was when I was sort of at the start of my business. But I wasn't ready. I actually didn't have the networking fundamentals. I would say the communication style, the person that I show up as today, I definitely wasn't then. But I knew I had vision for who I wanted to become. Even things like leadership and public speaking, people are like, wow, like, how do you show up like that? You look so confident. I mean, heck, the first week of our BNI group, there was a guest and she was like, oh, how long have you been doing BNI for? And I was like, it's my first week.
Since my first day.
Yeah, literally. And she was like, oh, you seem like you've been doing this for years.
Yeah.
It's like, no, like just showing up as me, showing up passionate, showing up authentically, and just being myself.
And that was felt in the room too. Everyone's like, yeah, he's got to have done this before.
And I preach that because the other side of that is living a lie per se. And anytime I felt like I did, my intuition would be like, hey, that's not you. Shit, you got me. You got me.
Damn it, me. Why do you know myself?
Even something as simple as like my coming out phase, for example, that was a difficult one. It was something that definitely overcame. But leaving the house, at night and then, where are you going? And then having to lie. It was like, that was a huge thing because for me, I felt like I was constantly lying to my family or lying to myself. I wasn't my true self. That was a big thing.
Yeah. How did you get through that?
Like the coming out or getting through that. Eventually just doing it. You know, I thought when I was younger that I was never going to come out. Like that was me. You know, I just lived with that reality. I went, there's no way I can tell mom. There's no way, how are they going to react? What's going to happen? I'm going to be disowned. I've got to make sure that I'm stable and I've got my own property by that point. You always assume the worst.
Yeah.
My dad actually reacted a bit differently to my mum. I thought that mum would be a bit more strict and there'd be a bit more repercussions, but actually dad took some time to sort of get through it. But I was a bit vulgar about it, gently. But then at the very beginning, I literally just said to my dad and my mum and dad, I don't go asking each uncle and auntie what they do in the bedroom. So they don't need, why do they need to know like what I do? Like that's how blunt I was because it doesn't, well, look, it matters, but it doesn't matter. Like, why do we care so much about what other people think, feel, do when life is about you?
100%. You only get one go.
Yeah. And I knew that I could continue to live a lie and just every time I walk out the door, feel that, or just be me. And just being me has helped me really embrace that connection with family. Like now I've got a better bond with mum. I could just holding emotions better and guiding her through things. We've become a lot closer. Dad we're working on that. There's some nurturing with that.
Yeah.
But I can imagine being a dad and having your son come out. That is tough. That's a huge thing. And yeah, so I say living authentically, but there is still gray area. I think we're living in. It's hard because amongst my peers, I'm probably gonna be accepted, so to speak, and if not, then it's a gentle like nudge of a, stay back. But what do you do with older relatives, as an example, who don't quite get it? And with my grandparents, like I haven't told my grandparents because it's not you don't want to upset them. I'm happy to be my authentic self, but you consider their health, old age. You don't want them thinking and overthinking, and then it's to their grief. So, yeah.
Is it because you come from? Is it a traditional European household that you come from?
Yeah.
And in what ways are they traditional? Like, do they hold a lot to their old ways, or is it?
I think from what I see about a traditional European upbringing is it's a lot about image. It's a lot about what other people think about you and how you're perceived and how you're seen. And if you're not seen as, for example, like rich, knowledgeable, educated, and all those things, then you're a bit of a castaway. So if my grandson is seen as gay, what does that mean for somebody who's lived their life by Christ? You know? And I'm not, all religious aside, I think what I mean there is we sort of we filter things based off of our beliefs. So you can't be gay but also believe in Christ. Absolutely, you can.
Yeah, exactly.
I have I hold a connection with God.
Yeah.
I believe in a creator. Others might not, and that's okay. That's them.
Yeah.
But this is my life.
Correct. And it's a personal relationship.
Yeah.
With that higher power.
Correct.
100%. Yeah. So, you're close with your family. it's important. It's an important part of your life. Yeah, I don't know what I was going to say. Just completely lost my train of thought. Thank you for sharing that. Cool. So I think what I want to ask next is, how has your journey with faith been?
Man. Oh,
Just while we keep it light and airy and,
wow. I couldn't do life without believing that there is something out there that governs our entire reality.
Yeah.
As deep as that can be for some people to believe, I believe in a creator because of my own personal filtered experience. And there has been many situations where I'm like, I'm screwed. Like, what the heck am I going to do? And it'd be a moment of prayer of like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to place this into a higher being, into God, into the universe. And just going to see what happens. And sure enough, something would happen out of nowhere, like that I couldn't have possibly created myself. Like, and just to look at that, like, I don't really have an experience now that I could bring up that's top of mind. But there's been so many different scenarios where I just trust in God. Yeah, even things like relationships. Relationships are a big one actually. In my previous breakups, I feel, leaving leaving your worries almost in God's hands. For me, that's been a huge thing to just go, no, everything's gonna work out.
Yeah.
It's all good. Everything's gonna work out.
And it does.
And it does, yeah. Like we do have to go through the human experience. There's something about the human experience that is a leveling up of the spirit, the soul, for who knows whatever comes next. Because if you don't, you're not really learning. And if I look at my life, anytime I've seen a lesson and gone, no, just put that to the side. Let's not look at that. Let's not look at that. It repeats itself. A different person will come into my life the exact same way to teach me the exact same thing.
You're not listening.
Yeah. And I'm a big believer in this. You get the feather, the brick, the bus.
Yeah.
And hopefully
That's an
you listen
excellent
at the
saying.
feather.
I
Because
love
if
that.
the bus comes.
Yeah.
And it hits you.
It's going to hit.
It hits you.
All right. I love that. I love that question, statement. That's so good.
Another thing that I've been sort of challenging myself on more recently when it comes to meeting people or relationships, let's say intimate relationships, and gone, would I have created this? If I was to design my ideal guy, husband, future partner, what would he look like? What would he emotionally embody? What would he mentally embody? And if I feel I haven't created that, then I'll go, oh, okay, that's a yellow flag.
Yeah.
But if I feel like I'm seeing all the greens, then I go, okay, we're on the right page here. Sure enough, every time I've gone, I wouldn't, that's come from the ego. That's not me.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
not something that I would have or co-created with divine.
Yeah.
I'm right.
Yeah.
It's not the right person.
Yeah, right. There you go. Interesting. So do you have the same level of codependence, not codependence, but faith insight when it comes to business relationships or work connections or that sort of thing? Is it the same sort of guidance that you have there, or?
Yes and no. It's been, I had a meeting with a client once, and I remember in my head, I was shrinking, like visually, I was shrinking. I was like, oh, that's a weird vision. Where did that come from? Sure enough, it actually manifested. That was my intuition telling me, hey, it sounds like a great deal. It sounds like you're onto the right things, but you really should back out here. Like, just be careful.
Yeah.
And my intuition was right, because it was him trying to back me into a corner to, let's get the content going. Yeah, let's get the marketing going. But he was actually going out of business. He didn't tell me that. Didn't mention, hey, low budget or low this, or, we're just not in the right sort of space to invest. And so the shrinking of me was actually him trying to squeeze every dollar out of me to just get things, get this, get that. Very demanding.
Was that to try and save his business? Or?
Essentially, yeah. And it was almost trying to like scapegoat the the cause of the problem.
The failure is the
And
marketing.
exactly. And none of us in business typically blame ourselves.
No.
You know, I'm a big believer in we're projecting our entire reality. And if you start to look at the things that you're experiencing and go, how am I responsible for this? It can really, like looking at it like a mirror, it can change everything. For me, it changed everything. I would look at my relationships and go, I've created you. What are you teaching me? I would look at friendships, family members, and go, there's something that you're communicating here that I'm not seeing. What are you teaching me? And so looking at it that way, of course, you don't take full responsibility. Like there are things that are a bit out of your hands or, you know, more of a projection of them, and it's being able to differentiate that.
But that's a lesson.
But it's a big lesson. Yeah. And if you notice, even the way that you climb ladders in your success, if you're meeting people up here, they're playing a completely different game to people down here, right? It's a massive difference in knowledge, in emotional intelligence, and so I've noticed as I've leveled up, I'm meeting people of that caliber.
Yep, 100%. I'm experiencing the same thing. There's a lot of people that I've caught up with some old friends recently, and the conversations all sort of go in the same way, and they're talking about other people or things that are happening, or you know, gossip and that sort of stuff. Whereas when I'm speaking with people in my current network, people that I currently consider friends, I mean, I consider the old guys friends as well, but the conversations are totally different. It's all about growth. It's all about wealth creation. It's all about building something. It's legacy. It's all this really good stuff. And it, as you say, it's just on another completely different level. And that's just been made really real to me because I had that conversation with these people, and then I went back and caught up with some old friends, and it was just like, wow, you guys are just, this is it. This is all it's ever going to be. And that was really interesting.
I think the other thing is, if you look at the chakras within the body, no matter where your religious or spiritual sort of thing is, there's no denying one thing. We have energetic channels within the body. And when I looked into this, the first three are your root chakra, your sacral, and your solar plexus. They are all survival-based energetic channels. So they're lower in the body. And then you move into your heart space and beyond, connection to divine. 80 to 90% of the world are living in the survival mode, those three chakras, all ego-focused. And so when I started to listen to the conversations of people who are turning over millions of dollars and making a difference in this world, they're not transactional. It's not about how can I use this person. It's how can I collaborate? How can I make a friend? How can I give back? It's relationships. It's relationship based. And what is my legacy long term that I want to put into society, into the world?
100%.
And so it doesn't come down to a dollar value, although that is the natural consequence of doing what we do really well. It actually comes down to how many lives can I change?
And what's my impact?
Yeah.
So what's your impact?
Ooh, hitting me with the big questions.
It's kind of my job.
Man.
Or do you not know yet?
You know, it's a constant evolution of, you know, it changes, you learn more, it changes again, you learn more, it changes again as you evolve.
Correct.
And some of it has to be selfish. Some of it is given back.
Totally.
For me, I love travel. Like having just got back from Europe, I use that as a way to inspire myself to keep going.
And you've already booked your next trip?
Not yet.
No, not yet.
Not yet. But I thought about it. It's coming. But the real legacy is, and it'll be teaching. You know, I think there's learn, do, teach. It'll be given back to videographers, photographers, marketers, and really being able to teach the craft. But at current, there's marketing with ego and there's marketing with heart. And the marketing with ego is all about, you know, the dollar value. What can I get? What can I get? But the heart,
transactional.
Transactional. But what can I give? And so even looking at marketing these days, like, why does it always need to be about the abs, the glamour, the look? That's how marketing is portrayed. It looks great, but it doesn't actually, it's not helping people, because when they look in the mirror, they think they need to be somebody that they don't. Or we're glamorizing things that aren't quite helpful in this world. Why aren't we lifting each other up?
Yeah.
Why are we scrolling through Instagram and social media and comparing one another? Why are we jealous, perhaps, of somebody else's success rather than clapping and applauding them? I know that that's a big culture in Australia. Tall
Definitely.
poppy
Tall
syndrome.
poppy syndrome, 100%.
So for me, I want to show that through visuals, through marketing, and I feel business and working with different businesses of different industries and multiple and networks and events. That's kind of like my vehicle. I'm using business as my vehicle, but what a lot of people don't realize is underneath that is empowerment, is personal development. So even something as simple as getting on camera, why can't they just set up a stand and a camera, their iPhone, for example? Why? I had to ask myself that question for so long. Like, can't you just do that?
It's
Like,
terrifying.
it's quick, it's easy.
Yeah, but it's also
The same fear you have, Costa. It was a mirror. And like, I'm excited for what I'm about to release and what's coming soon within Shots Creative, because I'm using my own fear, basically, of getting in front of the camera and empowering others to do the same.
Yeah.
It's something as simple as like a course. What I realized I was doing was I was inspiring them to be like, no, speak your truth. If you want to say something, say it.
Yeah,
You're going to piss some people off? Yeah, that's okay. Do it.
100%.
Because we don't get long in this world.
No,
It's over in a very quick moment.
very finite.
It is. Yeah, it's very finite. So, be
Which is
careful
beautiful
and
and
conscious of the people that you spend your time with, the phone calls that you take that go for 40 minutes but should have been 5. Why are we listening to things that maybe don't have relevance to us? And so, we get into business quite often for more time, more energy, more money. But we end up with less time, less energy, more money. People think we're ridiculous.
Sometimes less money.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think once you begin cracking the code slowly, and I wish I could be sitting here, talking like Bezos and, oh my God, amazing, all the things that I've created. Not yet. That's legacy.
Yeah.
He's done an amazing job. He's built something today. But that is the challenge. And a lot of people with life itself get comfortable with the 9 to 5, and that's okay. That is a choice.
That's their choice.
I used to speak to friends, maybe during less financially savvy days, and they'd be like, just go get a full-time job. I'd be like, no, I've got a passion.
Yeah.
And there were times when I seriously considered just giving up the dream, just going, you know what, like maybe this thing ain't working. Like maybe I should just take the pay package.
The security
just
and the
settle.
paycheck. Yeah.
Just settle.
Yeah.
Every time I did, because I ended up getting like part-time jobs here and there.
Yep.
Every time I did, I'd cop an asshole boss, or
those
I was
lessons.
unhappy. I was so unhappy.
Yep.
I would come back and be like, okay, money through account, but I'm so unhappy.
Yeah.
Wasn't-
It's the lesson. It's
Wasn't
this
living my truth.
Isn't you.
Yeah.
So you're going to deal
And
with
some people can deal with
boss.
that. Some people are okay with doing the 9 to 5, dealing with the asshole boss,
Yeah.
and leaving. That's a lifestyle. I can't personally, because I don't want that at the toll of my own health.
100%.
I don't want that at the toll of my own happiness. I would love to go to the toilet at the time that I want to and I can choose to. I don't want to wait for my boss to tell me,
It's
hey, you've
little
got your
things.
10-minute break now. Go
Yep.
for it.
Yep. 100%. Okay. Jumping back a little bit. I'm so impressed with your commitment to creating more content and the fact that just before you just pulled out your phone and did a story. I find that so difficult. This long form, I find so easy because I'll just pretend that they're not there and just chat. But pulling out the phone and seeing me staring back at me is like, oh God, I look terrible today. The hair's all out of whack. Like it's all this. And I'm just like, no, I'm not doing it. I can't do it. So it's so cool that you can do that and you're at the point that you can do that. It's something that a lot of people do struggle with. You've hit the nail on the head 110%. But going back a little bit further, who do you think is the greatest? You were talking before about marketing with the heart. Who do you think is the greatest heart marketer of all time?
Oof. God bless his soul, but I learned through Cohen Ray.
Yep.
He was an idol to
Legend.
me. Like, he kicked off my journey in business just through his courses, Nail and Scale It. I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story, but I actually went to his one-dayer in Melbourne back in, it would have been 2017, 2018.
Yep.
And I remember going, yep, I've got the information now. It's a fantastic day. See you later, because there's no way that I'm spending 3.5K on your course to come to Sydney and
Yep.
do your 3-dayer and no worries.
Yep.
It was something as I was going down, just before going down the steps, because I remember briefly talking to the guy at the desk, and no, it was a bit later that happened actually. But yeah, I remember just about to go down the steps. I've got my stuff. Cool, ready to go.
Yep.
Stop.
Filled out the
Cool.
notebook.
Stop. Bye. We're done. We're leaving. What's going on?
On the way out.
Stop. It wasn't anybody telling me to stop. It was my intuition.
Yep.
No, you need to do this. I was like, nah, man, 3.5K. Look, I'm not gonna be able to afford this thing right now. Like, just do it yourself. Start to
Learn.
I went to the desk. I actually asked them the question. I said, I've been stopped. Tell me a little bit more, your payment plans. What are your financial offerings, whatever. And I found a way to make that happen.
Awesome.
I just went, you know what? I see value in this. I'll fly up to Sydney. I'll do the 3-day course.
Yep.
Because that guy behind the desk, not that he convinced me, but basically goes like, you'd be very surprised if you go through that 3 days and you don't get a single thing out of it. You're learning about all things psychology, marketing, all this blah, blah. This was prior to me learning how to meditate, prior to short form content, all of that. It really did skyrocket my entire business journey.
Yep.
I remember doing elements of mindful meditation maybe back then. There would have been some calm things that I'd listened to. But I remember Cohen saying, real meditation is you sitting down with yourself.
Yeah.
No
distractions.
music, no guided anything, just you sitting down with yourself. Just try that.
Just you and your ugly thoughts.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a bit scary at the beginning.
Oh, terrifying.
You get caught up in your work day. Everything left, right, and center will come up. And then eventually I slowly got into binaural beats and frequencies and was able to tap into more than just meditation. Suddenly, if I wanted to crack into my heart space and feel into things, I was doing meditations at 528 hertz. So feeling frequencies and connecting with that. If I wanted to know if a situation was going to go right or wrong ahead of time, I could feel that almost before it happened. If I wanted more ideas, connection to divine and bringing that down, reroute, feeling safe. There was all these different meditations and frequencies that I was connecting to.
Yeah.
My favorite being the third eye. And I don't know what it was, but I'm a person who loves all things intuition, seeing, clairvoyance, claircognizance, all that. I would always look into the third eye. And my mate said to me one day, he goes, mate, once you open the third eye, there's no going back. I remember how dangerous it felt. It felt like, like you're screwed. You're like, careful. And so I was like, oh, should I not? Like, nah, I want to do it. I was like, all right, I'll just listen to a meditation, just the frequencies. And by the way, I don't recommend going too quick on the third eye.
Yeah.
This is why we have lower chakras and starting to unclear things that are happening around that first and then getting the spinning wheels going.
Be ready for it.
Because you do see visions. You do start to see things perhaps that most don't. A lot of people end up getting quite freaked out, or psychosis, or different things happen that you can't explain. It's supernatural per se. And my personal experience was it was a little bit freaky at the start, but then once I started to learn more about it, it got better. And then from Kerwin's marketing and meditation and learning about quantum fields,
He was such a legend.
I then went into Dr. Espin's teaching.
Yeah, okay.
And that was another world.
My first experience with Kerwin was, I think it was called the Success Summit, but it was like Grant Cardone and Gary Vaynerchuk were the headline acts. And then there was Graham Home, who's this mortgage guy who was very interesting. I still follow him now. And Kerwin, and I can't remember the other one, but Kerwin was on there. And that was my first experience that I had of him. And he came out and just exploded onto the stage and was just like, hey. And I'm like, I love this guy's energy. It was so, because I was there for Grant and Gary, because Grant's sales book taught me how to sell. And then Gary, I love his ethos and how he does things. He's brilliant as well. But Kerwin was just this left field. I was like, I could probably step out of the conference for this one. And then he stepped onto the stage and I'm like, no, I'm hooked. I'm taking all the notes. And so the page, still got the booklet. That page is full. Grant and Gary's, there's a few notes. But Kerwin, I just got so much value out of it. And I'm just like, I'm following this guy. I've, got to lock in with this. And he was such a legend. And yeah, terrible to hear that he passed. But that was certainly a surprise. But what a ripping bloke. He was Yeah, definitely touched a lot of lives and good human. I hadn't heard of this doctor guy that you mentioned.
So Dr. Espen, Espen. I was a bit skeptical at the start as well.
Yep.
He's the doctor credentials come from his background of chiropractic and all that. But really what the guy preaches is all things psychology, and it's science crossed with spirituality. And that's what I find interesting, because
Okay.
it's one of those things, it's the tale of time, science and spirituality. But he runs a breath work, and I've attended his 1 day, his 3 day, a lot of his programs actually, and gotten some benefit out of it. But the thing that got me that he does his 1 day program was the DMT breath work. I'd never heard of it before. DMT is short for dimethyltryptamine. Basically, usually DMT is only ingested, usually. However, they've been able to find, and the results show, we can actually secrete DMT via our lungs and our third eye, our pineal gland.
Right.
Most of us, and this is going a little bit esoteric here, but most of us have a calcified pineal gland, so therefore we cannot use it like its antenna as it was when we were born and it was being fully formed.
Right.
So essentially, the consciousness that you have as a kid, where you're quite wide and open up to the ether, closes in on your conditioning over time. The DMT breathwork helps you unlock that and unravel that. The first time I experienced the DMT breathwork, it was like charging my body as a battery.
Yeah.
I remember feeling like my hands and my legs were vibrating. What is this breathwork? This is crazy. I've never experienced this before. And the first conversation that I said to Asfen, I said, I know what's going to happen now. We're going to do this DMT breathwork, and we're going to have this out-of-body experience. I said, but I'm a bit scared. Like, I'm a bit worried about leaving my body. Like, that's a bit, whoa.
Yeah.
And he goes, that's your ego holding you back. You should go all in.
Of course you say that,
All right.
doctor.
Okay. Look, personally, I still haven't had an out-of-body experience, but I've experienced this probably at least 5, 10, 15 times, a handful of times.
Yeah.
It certainly does unlock a world of knowledge. I have had visions. I have had what we call, I suppose, the aura, the torus field reset. So if you look at the aura of the body, when you're attracting a lot of negative, bad vibe stuff, typically it's clinging onto your aura. The way to clean that is through energetic protection.
Yep.
So we're talking meditation, we're talking self-love, really looking after yourself, your health, and your body.
Yep.
Because most things that manifest physically in the body, ailments, tend to start metaphysically. They've been able to point out that when you're, let's just say, experiencing an ailment within the body, it's usually started from an event, something that's happened in your life that's caused either grief,
Trauma.
upset, trauma.
Yep.
It starts. And there's books on this. You can read The Body Keeps Score is a great one, where our body actually holds that memory of something that's happened, perhaps when we were a kid, could have even been in the womb. People don't realize that fears actually can develop in the womb. So before you're even born, you're coming in and you've got a fear. You don't even know. But we're born with 3 fears: the fear of falling, the fear of loud noises, and there's one more.
Fear of the dark?
No, actually, that's a learnt.
Really?
Spiders, fear of the dark,
learnt,
that's all learnt.
Spiders
Learnt
doesn't
and
feel
observed.
learnt.
Fear of loud noises.
I observed that from
Fear
mum.
of
Thanks,
falling.
mum. Terrified of those things.
I don't know what the third one is, but you can research this. There's
Yeah.
there's three main fears that you're born with.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Cool. So we're moving towards the end. What I'll do now is I sort of like to do this sometimes where I just ask quick fire questions where we keep it short and bang, 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 bang. But it's dependent on whether I can actually think of all these questions. So first, what's your favorite book?
Oof. Favorite book. It has to be one of the personal development ones.
Yeah.
Look, I love Think and Grow Rich. I think, what's the one of The Warrior's Way or something like that?
Oh, yeah, I know which
It's a
one
good
you're
one.
talking
You know the one
about.
that I talk about.
I
It's
can't
one of
remember
The
the author
Warrior.
off the top of my head.
Yeah, love that one. And The Mountain is You.
Oh,
Probably
yeah,
3
right.
of my greatest books that I've read. But yeah, most of the books I tend to audiobook them.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
definitely.
not a big reader.
I'm on the road all the time, so you know.
Yeah.
But I am a big reader still. Have you tried Simon Sinek?
The Y one.
Start with Y,
Start with
Leaders
Y,
Eat
yeah.
Last. Those ones, they're really good. I feel
Yeah,
like you'd
love
like
love
them.
Simon Sinek's teaching.
Yeah.
You know, the greater the why, the higher you fly.
Mm.
It's not a book, but that is, I would say, even just looking at my life, like looking at the reason why you're doing something is a huge
Legacy.
inspiration.
Yep. It's thinking about legacy and what the impact's going to be. So that's definitely keeps it real. Are you a music fan?
Love music, all different areas of music.
And now I'm going to test you. Country music?
Yeah, I love country music actually.
Because everyone says, "Oh, I love all music," and then I go country. They're like, "Ugh."
No. So when maybe like older country music, I didn't
Yeah.
really like, but the modern day country music, I'm actually really enjoying. I don't know, it's got this campfire feel to it. It's got this travel like feel to
Very
it. And I
relaxed.
actually really enjoy country music.
It's almost folky now, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
like it's
I
sort of
see
that
that.
vibe.
Yeah.
A lot of the more popular ones now. But yeah, I love all music. You've mentioned musical theatre. Favorite musical? There is a correct answer.
At the moment, it's got to be Wicked. It's got to be Wicked.
It's not the correct answer.
I actually acted in The Wiz, and I was in year 10 high school.
Oh,
And that was a
sick.
big thing for me
Yeah,
because
nice.
I do not have a voice like
Yep.
for singing. I will act,
Yep.
I'll dance, I will not sing.
Did
sing
they-
in the shower?
Yeah.
But you know, year 7 I was part of ensemble. It was just like a school production. Year 8
Yeah.
I skipped because I had too many extracurricular activities going on. 9 was Fame. That was amazing. Still ensemble. And then I was like, when am I going to get this main role? The year after was Little Shop of Horrors. I had elements of lines.
Yep.
And then I remember auditioning for The Wiz. They made me sing Hallelujah.
Yep.
And apparently I had an okay voice for that because the next morning when audition sheet was up, I ran. I remember getting there at like 8 a.m. and looking at the thing and going, okay, Dorothy, yep, cool. She sounds all right. Yeah, she's got the role. Yep, Scarecrow. Yep, Tin Man. All right, where's Costa, the lion? Am I seeing this correctly? I'm being cast for the lion? What? No. I don't think so.
How good.
And then it was the first rehearsal. They made me do the raw.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, shit.
Break the ice, guys. Is everyone going to do the raw? No, just me. Okay,
Just me,
that's fine.
you know,
That's fine.
turned out to be, that was the most amazing musical that I've ever been part of.
Yeah.
But Wicked surprises me. There's something magical about it.
Yeah.
Loving the cast. The most recent one, I would say, actually,
Okay.
the one in cinemas. Loving the cast. You know, the lineup, the story. I actually didn't like the stage production as much as I loved the screen.
Yeah.
There was something about the screen that I felt really connected to.
Yeah. Which is funny because a lot of musical theatre purists would be like, oh, the stage show's the best regardless. Like, no matter what they do with the movies, like Les Mis is better on stage. All these other ones are better on stage. There's hard line. But then sometimes you just watch the movie and it's just that little bit better. Like, it's just cool. And it's timeless in that way.
And I would say Aladdin surprised me
Yeah.
as well. Yeah, from the set design, choreography, singing, the color, like there was a lot of magic within Aladdin that I loved.
Awesome. Where'd you watch that?
Her Majesty's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I saw
Groovy.
Book of Mormon in London as well. Sort of fell asleep through Book of Mormon, not gonna lie. I don't think I got
That's
it.
crazy.
You know, I got it, but I didn't really. People were like, oh my God, Book of Mormon. I just
Nah.
wasn't connected to it.
Yeah. Right. Why do you think that is?
Probably because I went and saw it at like 10, 11 o'clock at night and I was tired.
It's
So
just like-
this wasn't something processing there. I'm not sure. You know, people are like, oh, there's vulgar language and this, that, like careful, the religious element. I was like, yeah, I was totally fine with that, to be honest. I was all right with that. I just didn't really connect to it the same way that other musicals do.
Well, it sounds like if you went that late, you weren't really giving it a shot.
We'll have to watch it again
Yeah,
sometime.
you're gonna have to watch it again.
Yeah.
We should go. Awesome, cool. The first musical experience I had when I did musical theatre way back when was at school. It was a school production as well. It was year 11, sorry, and I'd gone for the role of Marlon Brando in Guys and Dolls, and I sang and I butchered the audition. Like it was they had the guy that I was auditioning against started singing the song to help me through. I just totally forgot the words.
Wow.
And rubbish. I'm like, okay, they're probably not going to give me anything. They gave me Frank Sinatra's role, and it turned out that was a role that was much better suited to me and my voice and everything else. And so I was like, oh, okay, maybe I was meant to forget the lyrics to the song because this actually worked out really well, and it was so much fun. I think I read the script once. It was just I've got a really good memory for lyrics and things, so just stuck, and I'm just like, okay, this is it. It's awesome. Love it. Would love to get back into it.
You'd relate to this, but there was times when you through high school, like you got the script. Obviously, you got to remember. I remember, I think it was like a month and a half. They're like scripts down. I'm like, what? I barely memorized this shit. I'd be, earlier musicals, I would be listening to the musical lyrics like on the buses to and from school. Sometimes with the script, I'd be like, it was whatever we'd done during audition, or during rehearsals. That was basically it. Then it was like scripts down. I was like, I haven't half of this shit yet. We got through it eventually. It was an amazing performance, but you remember that feeling of scripts down. It's like, oh, now I need to memorize it.
Now it's like, okay, I've got to figure it out now. Cool, I've got to know what to say. And funny, there was one of the 3 nights. One of them was recorded. That was the one night that I forgot a line. And so I'm just standing there waiting for something to happen. And then I'm like, oh, that's me. It was just rough. The one time they're recording
line, please.
Yeah, it's like, I didn't need to call out to anyone. It was just sort of like this is a really long break. Oh, that's me. My bad. Yeah, good fun. Good fun. So, okay. Yeah, that's, what's the last question going to be? What do you want the last question to be?
On like advice.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What is the greatest piece of advice you've ever been given or ever read?
I think what sticks out most recently, and we sort of coined between myself and my bestie Fiona, it's just fucking do it, and I love her to bits. Like, we were talking almost every day throughout my trip, and I love that social connection.
Yeah.
But anytime where I sort of doubt myself, she'd be like, no, straight away she'd call it out. I'd just be like, what have you got to lose? Just go all in, because I've doubted myself a lot along the way, and it can really plague your journey, particularly in business. It definitely did for me. And then now it's like, just fucking do it, know, and really sticking to your guns, making the mistakes, and then learning from that. Quite often we play a little bit smaller because we're afraid of what could happen.
Yeah.
But that's actually worse than playing bigger, learning, and then going even bigger after that. And I think we're living in a conditioned world where making mistakes is seen as bad. It's like, no, don't make a mistake. That could cost you time, energy, this, that, money. But there's so much wisdom and learning within making mistakes that help your growth.
Yeah.
And that's how I've evolved. So fucked out, to be honest. Honestly, like, if I had to preach workshops or do anything and empower others, it's like, if you see that, like, crush it, really look at it and go, what is in that? Like, is there a story? Is it conditioned? And why aren't I doing it? Why aren't I actioning it? And then do the opposite. Do the thing, right? It's something as simple as, getting on camera. Why don't you want to do it? And then just do it. And then watch the results play out.
Yeah.
See what happens to your life when you do that. Because it's almost like you've got the key to unlocking a door. The doubt is the key. And then, like, you plug it in, unlock it, and then see what happens next.
Yeah. I've thought of another question. We talked a lot about legacy and how you want to be remembered and that sort of stuff in this episode. As of right now, how do you, Kosta, want to be remembered?
Oof. I think, honestly, something that's recently come to mind is, like, to be the ideas magician. You got a problem? Cool. Let me come up with a solution. Let me come up with an idea for something. And business isn't my entire personality. There's so many more layers to it, but I use that as a vehicle to connect. And there's a beauty in that. So when I consider Kosta, I think quantum, I think energy, I think business, I think connection to others. So how do I want to be remembered? I feel the way that I'm seen is I help others feel like they're seen, feel like they're heard. And that's what I get quite often. I create that space. And when people are seen and are heard, they do amazing things in this world. So why aren't we doing more of that?
Uplift. Nice. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. We are sort of at the end now. How are people best to connect with you?
Yep. So if you wanted to connect with me on socials, my personal is Kosta.Loe, so just Instagram. And if you want to connect with my business, check out what we're doing at Shots Creative and all things neuromarketing, psychology, content, then it's just Shots Creative Studio.
Awesome. And that's the website? Shots Creative.
Yeah, so www.shotscreativestudio.com.au.
Beautiful. Awesome. Thanks so much for being here, man. I really appreciate you.
Pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thanks. Groovy.